happy to introduce to two very important people here on the island.
Hey, hello.
Hello.
To who I talk here?
Oh, yes,
hello.
you talk there.
Hi.
And our sound system will be here. So you've got to be a bit more closer, yeah. So you both have a lot of tickets in your hands. Why do you have a lot of tickets?
Because we have the right and the possibility to invite a lot of people that we are knowing and we are very good connected on the island. And it's also a kind of what are we doing for the opera? To connect, to collect, to invite the people to they come together, you know.
So whom have you invited?
Who are we? Who did we invite, for example?
We invited people from the culture life and political life from Palma de Mallorca. But here we have the chef from Oper
interview.
We are actually live on Yachting International Radio, and so we the boss just dropped in.
Hello.
That's cool. So please come,
Matthias,
come to us, Matthias. You'll be seen here.
Oh, yeah.
So, very welcome.
Thank you.
How do you feel? Like this is this is the premiere in Palma de Mallorca today of Opera 4.0.
No, it's not the first one, because we had 2 years before. We made Nozze di Figaro here, and it was very interesting to make it here, because this auditorium has a very beautiful acoustic, and also Palma is such a beautiful city, and so we also living here in Mallorca since 15 years, and so we decided to start here a new opera festival.
What's so special about Opera 4.0?
It's very special. It's very different to all other operas, because our opera you can understand. It's not only a thing to understand the singer, but this is one of the very important things. The second is the gestic. I don't know the English word. The gestic is yes, it makes the impression from the singers much more interesting, and I think that's what is so different to all other. So everybody can understand this opera, and we don't need the subtitles.
And how do the artists prepare for such an opera? Do they prepare differently? Do they like it more, or how's the reaction on the artists?
The reaction is very interesting, because first they think a lot. Oh God, what's that? We never heard about this, and after 2 days they start to understand this, and then they really love it. And yes, the first days we have rehearsals with the singers alone, each alone, and afterwards we put it together.
So tonight is the first night of the Barbiere of Sevilla here in Palma de Mallorca. How are your expectations?
This is a hard question, but I think it will be a very, very good performance. If I can trust the singers, it will be the best Barbiere of Sevilla we had in the last, I think, 20 years around the world.
Wow, very good. So I bet now you want to go inside and you're kind of under pressure. So what are your next tasks as soon as you go into the store?
I had to do a lot. I have to tune until now the piano. Okay. Yes, it's not really finished.
Okay, then we are going to let him tune the piano. Thank you very much, Matthias, and have a very successful evening.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. So bye-bye. So we continue with you. So you brought in all the international and interesting guests for the guest list tonight. So who is on the guest list for tonight?
There are some person from the politics here. I'm not allowed to say names because they come more.
They're very private.
and from the Ayuntamiento, yes. And there is one person that I really love to see, and he called me and he said, "I'm coming." Pepe Pina. He has one of the biggest galleries here. Roman, ich brauch dich jetzt. No. He's running away. He's running away.
He has all the tickets, so it's okay if he walks away.
So sorry. With his wife, there are coming a lot of nice person. I have to go, I think, because
Okay, so she has to go for a picture. So
yes,
thank
if you want, you come with us. You come with us, and we make the picture together. You see that?
Now, you just can drop in later again. So I'm not alone here if it comes to opera. Luckily, I have an expert.
It's a little bit crazy tonight. I'm sorry, but people coming, they knocking at my shoulder. Come on, let's do a photo here, and it's strange, but that seems to be normal, you know. And
this is Mallorca.
Please, tomorrow it's again. They do it again tomorrow. You can come tomorrow also at 9 o'clock, the same place, auditorium here, and watch it, because I think next year will come more, and it's very beautiful.
Okay, thank you.
And there are over 70 people from the island that are in it, musicians, symphony, orchestra, and they also are preparing a change to go to to play at the 8th in Admiralspalast in Berlin in 3 days, I think, or 4 days. 4 days.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So, thank you. Thanks a million. So, these are all the important persons for today. So they are kind of in a rush because they have to be there on time, because on 9 o'clock everything is going to start here. But I have a joker with me, and my joker is Dylan. Dylan is from California. Hello, Dylan.
Nice to be here.
Nice to have you here. Let me introduce you. Dylan is originally from California. He used to live in New York City. He used to train people on the Broadway, and he even taught people how to play and how to act in opera and in musicals in Beijing, in China. So you've been very internationally known to be a director and to be an artist as well. So you know a lot about opera. So what's so special about Opera 4.0?
Well, Opera 4.0 is a very exciting opera company. Their philosophy is to look at the music in opera and the text in opera and give those two parts of it equal weight, which is actually very important because of the tradition of opera and the importance that has been placed on the music traditionally.
Mm-hmm. And do you like this way, or why is it needed? Or is it just something like, yeah, you wouldn't mind, or would you really like it?
I actually really, really like this. As you said, I come from a theater background, and of course, when you do theater, it's all about investigating the text. You know, why am I speaking these words? Why at this time? What's the importance of this piece? And so it's interesting when you look at theater and when you look at opera and kind of the beginnings of each one. Opera is traditionally a more wealthy art, right? A lot of money has always been poured into it, you know, from very rich people. And theater is more grungy. Theater is of the people, you know, it was done in the streets, it was political. And so the composers of these operas used plots a lot of time from theater, but gave them this beautiful, elegant kind of setting and these beautiful songs. And so as time went on, the importance was on the songs and on the music. And it was, you know, this note is coming out wrong, or, you know, this note is beautiful. And so Opera 4.0 is returning to the text and saying, what is the story behind this opera? How can we make people engaged? And how do we not have the stereotype of, oh, you know, the fat lady singing, you know, just parking and barking, as we say. It's engaging is what they're trying to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What would be a very typical song from the Barbier of Sevilla? Do you know something?
This is a very famous opera. The overture is very famous. It's the you know, you know, we all know that song. And then, of course, this was the introduction of a very famous character in opera, Figaro, the barber of Seville, who sings, of course, his famous "I'm in a Figaro." It's very famous. Robin Williams sings it in Mrs. Doubtfire at the beginning. It's a song that's known everywhere. And in fact, the character was so popular when originally written that Mozart later wrote a sequel to this opera called The Marriage of Figaro. So it's a very popular character, a really fun and popular opera.
Have you ever seen this opera already?
I have seen, actually, the only time I've ever seen this opera was when I was a child. It was one of the touring productions that came to my school in the middle of nowhere, one of the only artistic things that came from outside. And they did like a 1-hour version of this opera. And it was one of the most exciting things I've ever seen in my life at 10 o'clock in the morning. It was like 10 a.m., a bunch of rowdy kids, and we all were sucked in and quiet for an hour listening to this beautiful music and watching this hilarious story. It's really wonderful.
So now you're going to see this like years and years and years later, again in Palma de Mallorca. With whom are you shivering, or with whom are your thoughts? Because you maybe think this is really an exciting role in the play, or whom would you put your eye on?
Well, I'm really excited. This is a cast from all over the world. I think your previous guests were saying there are musicians from Mallorca, but this cast is also singers from the UK, singers from Germany, singers from everywhere. So opera is a really exciting art form. It's one of the only places where people easily come together from everywhere. Usually with different ideas about who these characters are, and then they get to come together, share those ideas, and make something new each time. So I'm really excited to see the freshness that they bring to the story with their approach. I hear it's going to be very technical and very kind of innovative in that way, so I'm really interested in that because traditionally, Barber of Seville is presented very old school, very period piece, corsets, and big full skirts and long puffy sleeves. I don't think we're in for this tonight. I think it's going to be very exciting.
Yeah, we are very excited. We will go in together, so we will enjoy this. And thank you, Dylan.
Of course, thank you.
Thanks a million. And if we are talking about culture and cultural aspects, there is someone else whom I would like to bring into this beautiful picture.
Hello, Matthias.
Hello, Matthias. Come closer so that you're in the picture.
Oh, yeah.
So I'd like to introduce you to Matthias Köster. Matthias Köster is a very well-known architect. He used to work for big architectural studios in London, such as Norman Foster. Now you're living in Palma de Mallorca. You have your own studio here, and obviously you're interested in culture. So what do you expect today from the Barbier of Sevilla?
Well, I don't know. I haven't been to opera for a long time. I've been in Italy a few times because I lived in Italy some years also, and that was always amazing. So I expect a little bit of the same sort of buzz, something kind of different, because I'm not a regular opera viewer, but every single time I go, I do really enjoy it. And some of the parts, maybe I don't understand so well because I don't have all the background of this, but I always enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I think it's just so nice to have always these, also for an architect, to go into these huge spaces, huge auditoriums, lots of people who all enjoy themselves. That's something that, just the atmosphere that I like.
Do you also dream of building something like an auditorium? Like as an architect, do you sit there and you think, oh, the seats are good, the ceiling is good, or how do you
No,
think of something like this if you're in the opera?
I think for me, as also like a football fan, it's a different kind of auditorium, but to once build a football stadium, that's still on my list. I once did a concert hall, actually, 7,000 people concert hall. And once we finished it...
Where's that concert hall?
That was in France, near Lyon. And once it was finished, I went there to see a Manu Chao concert. And it was unbelievable because he didn't stop playing and people started to tear the place apart. And now I was just sitting there thinking, I put so much effort to put every single seat in the right place and so on. And then you see everything just going off. But no, it was great. People had so much fun. And I think the place can take it to replace a few seats afterwards. So it was great. The main thing is people enjoy themselves.
So we hope that the people enjoy themselves tonight here in Palma de Mallorca with the Barbier from Sevilla. This was Martina Hirschmeier from Palma de Mallorca. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.